How many children can be raped and it's fine if you're in relation to the immigration community?
If we're going to talk about children being raped, then we need to hold this pedophile president, Donald Trump, accountable, and all those that have been implicated by the Epstein files that the Department of Justice is still not leaking.
What about the people killed by the illegal immigrants?
We have consequences right now as a result of Jared Moskowitz, my opponent, and 46 Democrats, as well as every Republican voting to pass the Laken Riley Act that is not only detained immigrants with no criminal conviction whatsoever, but they're now sweeping up American citizens, people who are being racially profiled. So we're seeing people dying in ICE detention, being shot on the street, like in Biddeford, Maine, just a few weeks ago.
Backed by the Democratic Socialists of America, running in one of the toss-up districts that could decide control of the House, according to our Fox News Power Rankings. Oliver Larkin challenging Florida Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz in next month's primary. Larkin calling for abolishing ICE, suspending U.S. military aid to Israel, and raising the federal minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to $25 an hour. Oliver Larkin joins us now after getting interrupted by breaking news last week with Martha. Mr. Larkin, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate it very much. Very quickly on the minimum wage thing, I just want to ask you, because I'm sitting here in California, I'm wondering if you know that when they raised the minimum wage on fast food restaurants in California, that it led to restaurants shutting down, it led to employees being laid off, and it led to one major brand pulling its headquarters out of the state altogether. Are you ready for the consequences for things like that?
Yeah, and I think Florida voters are ready for those consequences as well. Floridians, over 60% of us voted to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour in 2020. And frankly, we're not going to need people working 3 or 4 jobs if one job is paying a living wage. So I think the American people want to see us raise the minimum wage, which has gone the longest period without being raised since it was established.
Yeah, I'm curious why not capitalism over socialism? Why are you choosing socialism?
Well, democratic socialism is about bringing the systems of government that govern our lives under democratic control. We already pay a Medicare tax. Why don't we all have access to Medicare? We already pay into Social Security. Why are the wealthy and elite getting away with paying a lower effective tax rate on Social Security than the rest of us with the Social Security income cap? So the capitalist system in the United States of America, we've seen the Great Recession. We've seen the enormous transfers of wealth under COVID-19. And we want equity in our system. When America has been at its best, we've invested in the social safety net like we did under FDR in the golden age of American capitalism in the 20th century. We just want to see, with a democratic socialist principle, that we're investing in the American people and bringing our systems under democratic control.
Would you at least concede that capitalism in the United States has been extraordinarily effective, raising more people in the history of the world than anywhere out of poverty and leading to amazing developments, inventions, so on and so forth, putting America where it is?
I would say that when America has been at our best and when we've raised people out of poverty, it's because we've invested in the social safety net, when we've invested in the minimum wage and Social Security. So I think many of the greatest successes in American capitalism have been when we've invested in spreading the equity around and not just privileging the wealthy and elite like we have currently under our economic system and the billionaire tax cuts advanced by Donald Trump.
I'm assuming you, with the rest of the DSA platform, are in favor of open borders. I wanted to play some of this video from Ceuta, Spain, just to give you an idea and maybe get your take on what's happening there, as they call it chaotic when they open the borders and they let the flow of migrants in. If we can play some of this video, what do you think of that? Are you afraid that might happen here, or do you welcome this?
I don't think there's anything to fear with people seeking a better life in the United States of America. My wife is the proud daughter of Nicaraguan immigrants. We have consequences right now as a result of Jared Moskowitz, my opponent, and 46 Democrats, as well as every Republican voting to pass the Laken Riley Act that is not only detained immigrants with no criminal conviction whatsoever, but they're now sweeping up American citizens, people who are being racially profiled. So we're seeing people dying in ICE detention, being shot on the street, like in Biddeford, Maine, just a few weeks ago, and of course in Minneapolis. So we have an out-of-control ICE agency.
What about the people killed by the illegal immigrants? What about the many people, the Laken Rileys, I could go down the list, being killed by illegal immigrants? Why are there no protests for them? Why would you not protest for them? Would you at least concede that this is a big problem in this country?
We certainly need to make sure that our communities are safe, and that if people have committed violent crimes, that they're held accountable for that, including if they've committed violent crimes in the countries that...
Because we run these roles every day. We run these roles every day of ICE bringing these people out of the country who have committed heinous crimes. Last week, there were a number of rapes of a baby, of a 6-year-old. Would these types of things be worthy of protest?
We need to keep our communities safe, and we need to hold people accountable when they have harmed others, when they have broken the law. But let's be clear, immigration is a civil violation, not a criminal violation. So we need to stop treating the equivalent of a parking ticket like people are breaking the law and need a militarized police force breaking down their doors. So the comparison here is not one of criminality. It is whether we are respecting international law, the right to asylum, the right of respecting refugees' rights. Yeah. These are internationally agreed upon standards that the United States is violating. And I'll be clear, it's been violated by both administrations of Republicans and Democrats that have really enforced a cruel agency over immigrant detention.
You would not say that ICE has done yeoman's work when it comes to getting tens of thousands of violent criminals out of this country. Would you applaud them for that?
No, I would certainly not applaud ICE like Jared Moskowitz and 75 Democrats did, signing a letter of gratitude. I think that ICE should be abolished and that the people at the head of this agency and the people that are shooting people in mass, the ICE agents that are killing people should be prosecuted and held accountable under United States courts of law. Let's be clear about who we're ascribing criminality to, because my concern is an out-of-control federal law enforcement agency. But what is the crime? Because, again, we're talking about civil violations when it comes to immigration, whether people are overstaying.
Killing Laken Riley.
Of course, those people should be held accountable. We're in agreement on that, and I think your viewers would also. We're in agreement that people should be held accountable for violent crimes, but immigration in and of itself is not a criminal violation. It is a civil violation. And I think that painting a broad brushstroke with a few exceptions is not fair to the immigrants that have come to the United States.
A few exceptions?
Relative to the number of people that have immigrated to the United States, yes.
What is the number?
Immigrants
when you say
fewer
a few,
crimes
what is the
than
number?
American
what
citizens.
Is the number that you would allow? What is the number that is fine with you? Is there a benchmark? Is it fine? How many children can be raped and it's fine if you're in relation to the immigration community?
If we're going to talk about children being raped, then we need to hold this pedophile president, Donald Trump, accountable, and all those that have been implicated by the Epstein files that the Department of Justice is still not leaking. And they've sent AIPAC after Thomas Massey for having the temerity to hold accountable the pedophiles that are in control of our government.
Thank you. We appreciate your time very much.